AM 970 WSTX.
We've got Angela Golden Bryan here with us this morning, and she has guests who are working with her in this endeavor to bring Fireburn to the big screen, folks. All right, so with no further ado, Angela, good morning, and you take over. This studio belongs to you.
Oh man! All right. Well, good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be here, and with us is Marjorie Tingle.
Good morning to everyone.
Yes, she's producer.
Yes, I'm excited.
And Joel Findelman, director.
Good morning.
And so we are working on actually the documentary, and that will definitely be big screen, but baby steps documentary, and just doing it,
Well, that's how it starts.
Exactly.
One step at a time. That's how they made it down the road.
Yeah.
One step
Down
at
the
a
road.
time.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, we've been on a little journey here for a while. The first time I had to settle for a long distance conversation, and now for the second time around, now I got you here in person. All right. And I'm looking forward to hearing about the progress that you've made and some of the folks who've jumped on board and what it's looking like, because I think the community really needs to know. If when you go down to Frederiksted now, I'm sure that if you go down as you pass Claudio Marco, you see that mural on Claudio Marco. You haven't been there yet. I know you're just coming back home. Go and see it. Nice. Among a set of murals, but basically a different idea that has put St. Croix on the map. It's this group called Pangea Seed, and they do these murals. Artists from all over the world came in, and they were here. And so we're on the map with that now.
Nice.
And I'm saying, well, wow, okay, Fireburn, the documentary, let's do another one and put us on the map in a different way and tell the story, So I'm really looking forward to seeing more of that happen. But
and you say Claudio Marco is very near and dear to my heart, because that's where I went to first grade, and my mother taught there for a number of years at Claudio Marco. So I can't wait to see that. Can't wait.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, fantastic. But there are quite a few around here. So there's some people I'll give you names to touch bases with, and they can tell you where all of them are, so you can see them.
Yes.
Another one is when you go down to Doris Beach. All you got to do is turn around from the water, put your back to the water, and there it is, beautiful in front of you. But I'll let you go and see it for yourself.
Awesome.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are the things. We have so much beauty and, of course, so much history here. So this documentary is special to me in that sense, because, if you don't learn your history, you don't know where you're going. That's a general proposition. And worse yet, when other people start telling you your history, you can put it all kind of ways.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
All right. But I'm talking a little bit too much. I'm going to let you take over here. That is my disability.
Yes, it is.
You have to chime in, right?
That's funny.
Okay.
Having done a historical fiction, Fireburn, the screenplay, thank you, and taking liberties, creating the love triangles and doing those different things, I felt like, okay, it's time, let's investigate what really happened instead of following this formula of love, romance, and first you have the reluctant hero, and then the reluctant hero is drawn in, and then they do something, and then there's ups and downs, and it's a very specific formula that was followed in the screenplay. And I took liberties, as I said. I made some stuff up, and I felt like it was an opportunity, like, for revenge almost. And so I poked a lot of fun at the governor and the Danes and whatnot. And that's probably not going to be supported in the documents, the stuff, some of the things that I took liberties. So now this is an opportunity. Okay, I had some fun, and I definitely, I talked about the estates that were burned, the people, those things, based on research, absolutely. But yeah, let's hear what the artists, what do they have to say? What's their inspiration? The cultural ambassadors, and yeah, let's take a look. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the bottom line is, when you talk about the big screen and entertainment, as you mentioned, there are different ways to look at it. One is from the just purely cinematic entertainment, and when you get into the documentary, you're just digging deeper.
Yes.
And it's really, I look at it as a talent to be able to move back and forth between the too. Very few things out there when you go to the quote unquote movies. I mean, are there really Transformers out there? You know, and so it's very often, but you do have those that area and the room for telling it like it is and asking questions, maybe not getting the answers, but giving different perspective of what might have been
Exactly.
in the process. And you know, when you say Fireburn, you have the of course the iconic women involved in the Fireburn, and they're people, and they have a story.
Yes.
And you have to dig deep sometimes to get to that story because you know you go to class. It's only 45 minutes out of the hour really, because the next 15 minutes is talking and moving back and forth between classes basically. So I mean, how much can you get in that short period of time? In that sense, they have a story to tell, and this is a real opportunity to delve deeper from different perspectives, because different researchers might come up with different things. And in that context, we talked about Denmark and what's in Denmark. When we went to Denmark, one of the things that we got a chance to do was to go to the archives there. And there's a lot of information there. I mean, that's just a year-long trip in and of itself. I know, you know, that's a whole nother story, but I'm just throwing that in as a little tidbit there. So in the last, let's say, 10 years, I've learned so much about Virgin Islands history. And I'm saying, like, okay, it's a few 10 years before that I should have been learning this. And so I'm happy that it's coming through this media, because very often this is the new classroom.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I would say that it extends beyond the territory, because look at, you know, Marjorie, producer. When she first heard about it, it was like, oh, it was so relatable. So maybe you could even address that a little bit about your involvement and.
Oh,
I was just getting ready to tell you, I need a scoop and skinny on how you all came together and all this other good stuff.
Well, I've been acting for quite some time, and I was doing a lot of independent films and theatrical productions. And Angela, we bumped into one another at a African American Film Festival in Miami. So that was our first encounter, talking, and because we were all in the entertainment business. Or entertainment industry rather, and so we would talk from time on Facebook and interact, and she told me about a book that she had written, and she goes, I want to send it to you. And I thought, okay, great, I want to take a look at it. It was brilliantly written. I truly enjoyed it. I had no idea that this was actually a historical story that actually happened. So I thought that this was, you know, I know it was a historical fiction, but I didn't know that there was actually a story in history. So I dug a little bit deeper, did some research, and I thought, wow, Fireburn, you know, St. Croix, Three Queens, this is phenomenal, you know? And then she brought to my attention that I would love to make this a documentary. Can you help me bring this forth? And I thought, most definitely, let's get this going. My friend here, Joel Fenderman, he's an award-winning filmmaker out in Miami. I'm actually working on a passion project as well. And so I was able to contact Joel, and he came on board, and we just started talking, you know. We'll do these three-way conversations as to how we're going to produce this story and how we're going to bring it to St. Croix. And just really putting all the pieces together. And it's like everything just started happening, all in baby steps. And here we are today, you know, so I'm excited. We have some wonderful educators and cultural preservationists that we're going to be interviewing, that we're going to be digging a little bit deeper, you know, into the three queens. Who are these queens, you know? How did all of this happen? So it's exciting. It's exciting.
And she sticks with the three queens. I say four.
Yeah.
It is four. It is four.
Yes.
And you know, when Angela first came here by way of video teleconference, had a great show, and from that point on, I said, hey, you know, this is a screenplay. We got to figure out how we're gonna get from screenplay to on the screen, you know.
Yes.
So little did I know that was a little burning ember flame or whatever it was, full blown fire going on at the time that she was being so modest about, you know. So anyhow, just for benefit of the audience here, she came here and she had a T-shirt for me, and Jerry whatever, intimidate the woman into gaying him.
No. Watch out now. I get it first. And then you went to bed for yours.
You talk about T-shirts. Well, look what we got here.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Now this.
And she
Okay.
remembered
Next
me.
generation?
Yeah,
Then
there
she
we go.
remembered me again.
Ignite your passion.
All right.
Yes. Okay. So
all
we
right.
got one for each of you. Of
Yes.
course.
Okay,
So
well,
she
that's fine.
remembered me
Right
again.
there. Yeah. There we go. And then Jared's
one
got
for
his.
Jared.
Yeah.
Jared, here
Yeah,
we
there you
go.
go. You got your Fireburn, ignite your passion.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So one of the things that I like to add is I do some motivational speaking as well. So I say ignite your passion without getting burned. So sometimes you gotta ignite things, but we don't want to get burned ourselves. So that's a little thing that we don't want to get burned, right?
No, we don't want to get one, but I'm going to just throw in this little thing. You know, I like my accessibility.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
So I'm going to just remind you guys when you're making the film,
yes,
right?
yeah,
So remember
about
about the audio description within the film.
yes.
Okay? Like I think there's a company called Caption Max.
Caption Max, we gotta remember that.
That's
Caption Max,
Probably one of many.
That's one of many.
one of many.
Yeah, one of many. So you could do the research so you know how you can fit it in the film so that
Yes.
somebody in my position
Absolutely.
can enjoy the film.
Yes, it's Jared was the first one to say, Angelo, your book, audio, braille, come on. So that is definitely it's in the works, as well as the children's book, James and the Fireburn.
Yes.
Fireburn. Yeah, we got to get that in
So
braille as
you
well.
have young children nowadays.
Absolutely,
So I always try to advocate for this.
yes.
And
It's so
nobody
important.
else gonna do it.
Being the voice.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I end up. I always said to myself after losing my vision at such a late stage in life, I say, what am I gonna do? But then I realized my calling is to advocate for them and those who don't
There
have
you
a
go.
voice.
There you go.
So that's my life. That's what I do.
Maybe even start a business and where you can be doing these things, these services. Hire people, get it all together. We're starting a little consultation here.
No, but it's you're right on time, because the problem too often is you have people who don't feel it. Okay?
Exactly.
And who feels it knows it. And it's best when the people who feel it tell the story. I mean, it's just like the folks in Alaska, they have their own story to tell. You talk to the various Indian tribes, they have their own story to tell.
Absolutely.
You go into the mountains in Mexico, South America, and all of these other civilizations, they have their story to tell. Well, we have our story to tell, and from a daughter of the soil, and from all the wealth of culture bearers and other folks who are going to step up to the plate. And I'm saying that because I know everyone is excited about this.
That's
It's
excited.
going to be our story in that sense.
Yes.
And with every story you have people who might beg to differ about this or that or the other, but at least we got something to
Yes.
talk about, differ about.
It's the conversation that just continues, And what does it say? There's his side, her side, and then there's the truth.
There's the truth.
There's something.
I grew up hearing that.
So 3 sides to every story, but yeah, let's see. What do the archives say? What's the oral tradition? How is it commemorated and all that? And let's have a conversation. Some people will be vexed.
Well,
Some
it's
people,
important, because some people who might be vexed or agree or disagree, a lot of these folks aren't here anymore, and that's part of the challenge that we face, is that we get so much into having an opinion, and we don't realize that memorializing what we think and how we feel is equally important. We see that in the world of music. We have some great musicians, some great geniuses here in the Virgin Islands, but very little documentation of what they've contributed. I'm glad to see, just like you're doing, that there is more attention being paid to just not listening to some of these folks who say, I don't like my picture taken, turn off a camera, I'll talk to you, but no camera. And you have to, work them over and let them understand, wait a minute, you got a story to be told.
Yes.
And I'm going to hear it, but when I tell it, it might be a little bit different than how you tell it. I want to get it accurate as to how you have to tell it.
Yes.
You know, and that's one of the challenges that we've been facing over time. In the last 6 months, for instance, well, in the last 2 years, we've lost easily, let's say, 8 prominent musicians who had a story to be told. And their story can now only be told third-party wise. And that's usually if you happen to bump into the person and they just start talking. I'm getting to the point now where I walk with my audio recorder all the time. And when I talk to anybody who know anything, I just turn it on, you know? Because the stories come out and chances are you'll never get back to that subject again.
Exactly.
But the Fireburn is something that's cyclical in terms of history. We have history coming, what is Black History Month, Virgin Islands History Month, whatever the case may be, women's history. It's history. And it's not a month. It's something that was going on hundreds of years, thousands of years, tens of thousands of years. It's history. So we have to take a different view of history.
Yeah, rather than, let's just take it out and dust it off one time a year. No, this is
for 28 days.
Yeah, really.
29 days.
Right. So anyhow, give us a little bit of the melon, man. You
Melon?
come home. I know you ain't just come home just for sun, sea, and sand. Although that's plenty to come for. Anyhow, wouldn't we all like to just live for sun, sea, and sand? Right?
That would be, yes, that's your life. You're describing his life.
You know? So, but...
we're hoping to get some sun, sea, and sand while we're here.
Right.
That would be amazing.
I know you got hard work in store, but just give us a little insight of what your journey is this time around.
Yeah, you want to speak a little bit about our plans while we're here?
Oh, well, we have a week fully packed of meeting with many educators and cultural preservationists about this phenomenal documentary that we're doing. So we're excited. I mean, we're going to be doing a lot of driving, a lot of traveling for the next few days. We're here until the 19th, so we're definitely going to get a lot done. And so our goal is to pitch it to as many film festivals as we possibly can. You know, we know and we feel in our heart that it's going to be very much well received because we've worked so hard over the last few months and I'm excited that we're here today to truly bring forth this incredible documentary.
Yeah.
So we're not at liberty to discuss the interviewees.
I know that. That's why I push. I want to get in mellow, but I know full well you can't tell me out.
But I'll tell you some more. We will also take a look at how it is commemorated. The Fireburn is commemorated today in art as well as dance, and those will be things. And we are at liberty to mention Pressure Bus Pipe as one of our sponsors.
Yes.
So he has we have a can't tell you what it is. That's going to be a surprise, but a contribution for him as well. So that it's going to be an overview. So what does the oral tradition look like? What do the archives look like? What does the art form look like? And have this a bigger picture than what I have been used to seeing.
Right,
so that's some of it.
You have a variety of people that I know you're going to be talking with. You have the Landmark Society, for instance, and I know that they have resources more in terms of information and people with a wealth of knowledge in that respect, as well as the networking that goes on, because through there, a lot of people meet that. I know this person who can tell you about this and who can tell you about that, and that type of thing. And that's just one example. The books that have been written of late. Another avenue is through our poets, for instance. We have a lot of poets that do a lot of writing. Of course, you have iconic persons also like Mario Moorhead and the things that he has written and his perspective.
His latest book.
His latest book, one of many perspectives. And I say this because through this potpourri, you kind of strain out and refine and get something that you can present.
Sure. Yes.
Ultimately, I call it a documentary.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Good thing.
Yes.
So, anyhow, you bring gifts. So we're gonna give some gifts too here.
Oh,
today.
what you got back there? What you got back there? Oh, let's see.
got some gifts.
Ooh la la! All right.
Okay.
Gooseberry stew, gooseberry. Oh yes, yes.
We're
Okay.
getting to be known for that, and we have his for him also.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
good.
that's very nice. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Yes.
Definitely,
I'll
definitely.
fill you in on the gooseberry later.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Yeah, and
Thank you very much.
I want to say thanks again to the culture bearers who assist me in being able to do this. As a, everybody comes in here with a broad smile. I just try to make sure it's so doggone way when they leave here, and this usually helps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to tell her a little bit about gooseberry stew?
Yes, please do.
That's all you need to say is you're gonna enjoy it, right?
I love it. I love it.
And you down in the area and get some Armstrongs to go with it.
Oh my.
Hey,
Always.
Oh,
Yes.
you
Not yet. We just got in yesterday, but yeah. Always. That's one of my stops. Have to do it.
Oh.
Yeah, you're. That's part of
I'm in for a
the
treat.
rites of passage of being here.
You can't live St. Croix unless you taste our local ice cream.
Oh, it's so yummy.
Okay.
They've been around for.
Donkey year,
Ooh, yes.
couple
Yes.
generations.
Okay.
Yes.
So you gotta taste it.
All right, I'm gonna do that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure.
That'll be our next stop.
Yeah. On the way down.
On the way down.
And one of these days, not necessarily on this trip, while you're here, you have to make sure you check out the bioluminescent day here at Columbus Landing.
Okay.
Okay, and I say this, you're visiting, but you have those of us who live here who are just basically going about life, living here, and they're not partaking in all of the nice things that everybody pay $1,000 ticket to come down here and have a little bit of,
It's so easy to do. Life can get in the way.
Yeah,
Right?
you don't even realize you're missing it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so,
When I used to drive, I used to enjoy it.
well, I'm just saying to you, I
I
had
was one of them that used to.
I had
Find
guests
the time.
come here and wanting things to do and so forth and so on, and that's how we end up going kayaking at the bioluminescent bay. And if you can catch
gotta
it
do
on,
that.
on a full moon type of night,
Okay.
it's wonderful
Wow.
in that sense. But when you basically, if you just wade your hand through the water, it starts turning colors, turning bioluminescence or organisms that are in there.
And how long has that been around? I mean,
It's been there forever,
I've
but
never heard of that. Growing up.
it's a well kept secret.
Wow.
And that it's kind of like if you come to St. Croix and don't go to Point Udall.
Point Udall, yes.
It's kind of like, how did you go there and not
Didn't
do that? But there are those of us who grow up here and kind of get it taken
Kramer's
for
Park and
granted.
Sandy
here.
Point. That was it for me. Growing up, that was my highlight. And of course the village, and but
Well, they make it easier now to get the point you know that they fix the road.
they did.
But I don't know how good it is now.
Uh-oh.
But the roads were fixed a long time when I first went to Point Duda. You needed damn near a 4-wheel drive to get there.
A helicopter, right?
That would have been smoother. But
Well-
now, it's a lot different now, and they really have it like a tourist spot. So
Okay.
it's really good to, take your friends up there and
Yeah.
take pictures and,
See if we can get there between our schedule. That would
Yes,
be amazing.
that would be wonderful.
Well,
Yeah.
The best thing what you can do is, before you go back, try to go up for sunrise. It's like no other.
So that's like like 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah, it's like no
that sounds
other.
kind of challenging for some people.
You have to get up super early for that.
It's like no other. It's something you can snap, take a picture, take a video, and take back with you.
Okay, that sounds like it might be worth
Wow.
it then. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Sacrifice some sleep.
Yes.
All right. Well, since we are on the subject of documentaries and watching your watch,
I thought maybe
sprint.
I saw
No,
someone.
in a little while.
Yeah, 'cause we're good, we're good.
We're gonna have a women's coalition coming in here, but
Oh, nice.
I'm mentioning that because they have the Luna Fest Film Festival.
I
Are you-
saw that. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So you.
Congratulations.
That's wonderful.
Okay,
Yes, that's
good thing.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's one of those things that we.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we see that there's kind of like this synergy.
Yes, it's time.
Various,
It's
how should I put it?
They know
Creative audio, video, getting more into the video side of it.
Yes.
And it's just something that we have to keep our eye on and do the things necessary to nurture and to support. And it's one of those things that comes back 1,000-fold to the community in that sense.
And it's about the community. It really is. At the end of the day, it's not for me. It's not about personalities, individuals, but it's about sharing. It's about the community and collaboration. It really is.
All right. Well, you say you're here till the 19th?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we got you here for just a little bit, enough time to walk through the
Ag Fair,
Ag
too.
Fair
Absolutely,
also.
yes, yes.
All right.
We'll be back for the premiere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got to get you all your tickets. You know.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
yes.
well, you know, all of that's
Yes,
a given. You don't want us to disown you.
By then might have another set of T-shirts by then. I have no promises, but you never know. You know.
So you're gonna send the limousine pickup?
well, no.
Okay,
Helicopter.
We'll go higher.
Yeah, but no. Well, it's great that we're taking these steps. So
Yeah.
the documentary, and then eventually the movie where we get to take a little bit of liberty.
Yeah, I know. That's where you bring in the creative light, right? And you
Right.
just like all kinds of stuff. Huh?
And you know, Queen Mary, Queen Agnes, all of them, they weren't made of stone. They were people,
Yes.
flesh and blood.
Yes.
They had feelings just like
Yes.
everybody else. They had
Yes.
struggles just like everybody else. And the
Yes.
more that we can get those stories told,
Yes.
or if it's not a story, it's something to think about.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yes.
Some of them are mothers. You know,
But
I
this
think
is
they're all-
the
yes.
story. This is a part of the story that never really gets told.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
in fact, the closest you get up to this point, from my perspective, is when they start talking about how they were those who were incarcerated, how long, eventually when they released them, and that's the most that you really get. But these folks had a life,
Yes, they
you
did.
know.
And they're willing to risk it all. You know, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that I learned, because I think so often when it comes to heroes, heroines, is that they become so iconic that they're almost they become gods with a little g, and so they don't have they lose those human parts. But I love when I was doing some more reading and whatnot. It's like Queen Mary would go from plantation to plantation and say, "Are you with us? If not, she threatened to kill them." I'm like, I love it. You know, and for some that might be like, oh no, don't say that. But I want to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's okay because we are human. You know.
We need somebody like that in this day and age.
You know, here.
No, well,
You're not with us, because if you're not with us, then when it comes to the battle, I could get fragged. You know, you can shoot me from behind if I think you're with me and you're not even really with me. You know, so
it's about consciousness, and
Yeah.
consciousness is something that some people just innately lean that way, and other folks you have to drag them, push them, cajole them, whatever the case may be. I mean, just look at the Underground Railroad, and here she
we're
is.
just talking about that.
We were just talking about that on the plane.
Yes.
Literally coming
Here
in.
she is with brothers who turn and go back.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't understand the concept, and
Let's
so
go back
it's-
to Egypt where there's onions and leeks, and let's go
Yes.
back to the
right,
Let's go
you
back
know,
to what we're
kinda like,
used to with the norm.
well, symbolically, Moses, why you bring us here to die? We didn't come here to die. We came here to be free, and and that's the vision you have to always keep. It's about freedom, and freedom is one of those things that I see as it's always a moving target.
Yes.
You look at what's going on in the world today; it's always a moving target. When you hear about what's going on in Libya and the trafficking in as a commodity in human beings all over again, I'm being polite, slavery.
It really
you
is.
know,
Yeah.
so you realize that this world is always in a position to repeat.
Yes.
And the more you don't know about where you've been, the more likely you could end up there again.
So we tell the story, we share the story so that we can rise together and say never again. And we recognize it more easily when we see it in another form by another name.
All right. Well, you've got a few days to enjoy St. Croix as well as to do hard work.
Yes.
And I want to commend you in terms of what I've seen, the evolution from my perspective of your journey and the progress that you've made. And folks, if you don't already know Angela Golden Bryan, most of you, either directly or by way of a niece, nephew, or child, can get on the internet and Google that name. And you will see that she comes with credentials. She's not Juanita come lately. She is a professional in the area of movies and acting, and definitely someone just like the Tim Duncans and everybody else out there that we need to say, hey, that's one of ours, and look what they're doing.
Yes.
Shout it out. Look what they're doing. This way, you never know what your child, grandchild, niece, nephew might aspire to doing.
Yes.
Because the sky's the limit if we teach them from now
Of
Yes.
course.
that
of
there
course.
is a sky and it is limitless.
That's right.
That's right.
And success leaves clues. So rather than looking at somebody and envying or being a hater, look for the clues that they left, link up with them, and do it together. You know, for me, I'm all about we do this together as a community. You know, because I've heard that it's lonely at the top, but that's only if you leave people behind. So do it together.
Well, the one thing that's happening today in this world, certain things like, for instance, you have rights to work laws that basically uproot and otherwise do away with unions. That's really what the goal is. You have these agreements now that you have to sign to work some places so that you can't do a class action suit and you can't take them to court. You have to do mediation.
Sounds familiar.
Every which way you see little ways in which that world that propagated a thing called slavery.
And the Labor Act.
Okay, and from slavery to now that in many ways you see them trying to claw back.
Yeah.
Okay, under a different name, but they're trying to
Yes.
claw back.
Yes.
And so it's important that the story be told
Yes.
and told and told and re-envisioned and put new creative aspects to it. At the art fair, one of the things that they're looking at is having a contest where the first person who can take a picture and send it to a particular site address or whatever the case may be can win a prize.
Okay.
I mean, you want to talk about a way of motivating children,
Get the
let's
phones
say,
out.
because they get to use the device
Right.
and they get to win a prize, and all of a sudden, what is work and research turns into fun.
Yes.
So the more we can reinvent these things into something of interest, and that's starting with a documentary,
Yes.
In a relevant format. Yes.
and then moving into the more entertaining-oriented film. And then after that, we'll look for the next story.
Probably an app. An app, a game. Have to a video game or
video
something.
game.
I
Anything to
don't,
get their attention.
I don't pass. I don't pass you with that. We got so much history. I'm looking for the next documentary and the next film.
but it's so funny, you hear it talk about a movie. It's like being in labor and delivery with your wife while she's pushing, and you say, "Baby, we're gonna have another one." It's like, oh my gosh, no, no, we're just having this one. It's a lot of work.
All right. Well,
Thank you so much.
I won't torture you in this labor of love. I'll give you a chance to get this one out and take a deep breath.
You mentioned an app, right? So you
Oh.
can call it the Angela Bryan channel.
Hey,
Might
Oprah
have to
did
give
it.
more. Oh, that's right.
Oprah did it.
Can I say
Oprah
A?
did it. All right. Speak it. Claim it.
Documentary.
All right.
I'm thinking, how about G for Gerard? That has a ring to it.
That's the one.
He's happy with that
His
one.
head big enough, okay? His head big enough. Sometimes you have trouble getting in the door here.
Not as big as your mouth.
Oh! Fire!
My.
I feel the love. I feel the love.
Now,
And I'm gonna get out of the stream of this love, right? I might get
You see
caught in the fire,
No, see what happened is, we had a thing going on last year. Who is the sweeter side of this group?
Okay.
And I tell it to me.
Uh-huh.
He said, no, it is he. You understand? But here, I done did the poll and he done last.
I was gonna ask if there was like a poll, something scientific, or if it was just
Yeah.
you, me, you.
Yeah,
So you did the poll.
He lost.
I'm sorry, Doug.
Well, I didn't want to break it to him that way.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is the first time he's hearing
yeah,
it.
first time
Oh,
hearing it.
oh man, wow. Oh, with an audience and all. Okay,
Well,
sorry.
Whatever you need to float your boat, go right on ahead. Okay.
Douglas, you're so
I
used
am
to this.
confident.
You're so used to this.
Oh man.
Yeah, so
You
Angela is.
see, he have a problem trying to get people on his side when I'm around. He always say, "I'm on his side." You know what I mean? I don't know why.
I feel the love.
Don't worry, dog. I still got your back.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. That's good to
Well, the
know.
last person that said that to someone stabbed them.
No, Lord,
Ooh,
indeed.
I got your back. It's not that time, right?
No. It's not the one.
No.
Oh, okay.
I am not.
Oh.
I'm letting you know from now, Caesar ain't my family, okay? All right? So I'm going to take you at your word. Not
you
at
don't have to
Caesar's
have my
word.
back, man. Yeah, you don't have to have my back.
Anyhow, we look at everything that's going on. And Angela, I just want to say thank you for being who you are and going about what you're doing, and wish you all the best and all the luck. And continue to reach out in this community, because I think you'll find that there are plenty who embrace what you're doing and will support what you're doing. Okay.
Wonderful support. It's been a beautiful process. Just love it. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm just looking forward to the documentary hitting the big screen, and it starts.
Yes.
It starts one conversation at a time.
Absolutely.
One artifact at a time.
Yes.
And you put them together, and next thing you know, voila. Okay?
Yes, and showcase the wonderful people that are here, living here, and from St. Thomas too. We have someone from St. Thomas, but are here in the VI, in the trenches, doing the work, studying, rolling up the sleeves and looking at the archives, having the conversations, doing the hard work, just to treasure that and to share it, beyond the territory. Of course, here first, you feed the family first, and then you move out. But yeah. So looking forward, and I so treasure every single person that has said yes to the project. It's such a blessing to have that type of collaboration. It really is.
And I think you're doing a very great thing by letting people know as you go. People jump on board. You're letting folks know who's on board, and whoever else could get jealous and come and get on board quick too. That's how you do it. And so it's great seeing that. But I'm ready. So just let me know when you're looking for extras.
We might be able to give you a speaking role, maybe, right?
You deserve a speaking role. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No extra.
A cameo.
I would
Be
say
careful. Be careful. He already tell you what my disability is.
Okay.
Okay, take the mic from him. Take it from him.
We're gonna have to shut down Mike Dunn.
I was like,
Yes. But no, but as we say that, everybody in the sound of my voice, this is something that you have to be aware of. It's a documentary about something of Virgin Islands and St. Croix nature. So don't expect and don't put the mindset in place that somehow or the other, if somebody else other than you is going to be on the screen. So all of you actors out there, from Caribbean Community Theater to down there at the complex with Miss Carter and every place else, if you've got the talent, if you've got the inspiration, you got to check it out, because you just never know. You might just be the right person for the part, but you gotta go after it like anything else.
there you go.
Now, being in the business, and if you can do this in a short time, because I realize that you have time constraints, but starting out in the business, what was your experience? So you see these stories about folks knocking on doors and getting rejected, basically going off and having to get another job, and every time they get a chance, they run off to an audition and try to get back on their lunchtime, and so forth and so on. What was your journey in terms of breaking into the industry from an acting perspective?
For for me, I was very, very blessed in that my husband, you know, he just fully supported me in that. So most of my friends, yeah, don't quit your day job, because just because you may think that I am absolutely brilliant, I'm going to go there and I'm going to get the first one and I'm going to go to no, no, no. Usually doesn't happen that way. So that day job, I have friends that have ended up homeless. So for me, you know, having that spouse that supports and says, you know what, go for it. Yeah. So my booking ratio when I first started off was very, very high, you know, especially in spokespersons, commercials, and there weren't that many film roles coming into, I'm in Florida, and my kids were small at the time, so I was reluctant to do a lot of traveling, but, you know, I would say Marjorie more than you know, I did more commercial spokesperson looking for the film. She's done a lot more film than I have. So, it's beating the pavement.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really is. I'm
Yeah.
not giving up. Not
Definitely.
giving up.
I would say so.
All right. All right. Well, I'll use those 3 words for everyone. Not giving up.
Oh,
No,
yes.
no.
Not giving
You have to
up.
know what your purpose
Not
is,
giving
Yes.
and what your assignment is,
Amen and
and
amen.
what you were born to do. And if this is your assignment, and this is your purpose, and you prayed about it, then you have to move forward in it, despite the negativity, despite the comments that you receive from maybe even your own family or friends or the things that you've heard. You just have to take one step forward and continue to move forward in it. It's not easy, I would say so, because I know when I started doing it, lots of rejection. People told me all the time, "You're a mother, you have children. You know, you don't have time for this. You're still working." But I would find a way to fit it in, you know, despite it all.
Well, I'm going to invite you to do something. Me and my fast self. Okay? and I say this, in seeing children, let's say, and I'm going to use the example of wanting to be a basketball player and play in the NBA. And when you try to explain to them that out of every million children that have that aspiration, maybe 10 might be the ones that are picked. And the odds are so great. But you have 2 reactions to that, and I'm going to limit it artificially to 2. One, I ain't going to try, I probably ain't going to make it.
And you won't.
And,
That's your
and
attitude.
that's the attitude, but what I'm saying is when you see a child with that type of thinking,
Yeah.
you have to intervene.
Yes.
You have to intervene
Yes.
because it carries over into other things. And after a while, they start justifying why they never succeed
Yes.
in that sense. And
Yes.
never succeed at anything because they're expecting
Yes.
to fail.
Yes.
course.
And it's usually
And-
someone else's fault as well. That there's blame and victimhood.
All
Yes.
of that. So and then you have the other end of it with the person who's super motivated and never gives up.
Yes.
And for all of those who may have any type of leaning toward the first one, I would highly encourage you, if you can do something like to visit our schools, take along a little video of
Yes.
some of the ads that you've done, the acting that you've done, and so forth and so on, that you can sit down with these young people and show them, yes, I did it.
Yes.
It
I've
wasn't
done that
easy.
in Florida with the school. I'd
All
love
right.
to come here on a trip and do it here.
We're looking
Absolutely.
forward. We're
Definitely.
looking forward.
Yes.
Well, what I would tell you is befriend the schools, and every time you come here, you pick one and you do one,
Absolutely.
because it very seldom works out that you just have an assignment where that's all that you do.
Yes.
Uh,
That's a great idea.
In that sense, you know. But definitely because they see you grew up here
Exactly.
and you doing this.
Yes.
Oh,
Of course.
okay.
You're an
And
inspiration.
I can do it too.
Yes.
yes. So,
Thank you. Yeah, I like the idea because it's like I gotta come on a trip and just do that and hit all. But I like that. Each time I come back, okay, this is gonna be this school.
this
is
school,
gonna be-
that
yes.
school,
yes.
no, because otherwise it's just too much to take on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not. You're not supposed to go crazy when you come
I
here.
know,
You're
I
supposed
know.
to enjoy life, relax, and pursue the dreams
Yeah.
in the process now. Okay. All right.
Well,
Well,
I gotta definitely have to give back. You know, I have to. So.
all right. Fantastic. Okay. Well, I'm about at that point where I have a women's coalition, and they live right around the corner from me, and I'm not going to put myself in jeopardy of them
No,
coming
don't do that.
coming around the corner
I
and
don't want them
changing
messing
my
with me.
locks.
I don't want them messing with me.
So they're going to have to come in here in a minute or two.
to stone him? Oh my God!
To lock me out.
Oh, the locks. I thought the rocks. I was like,
And then come to the station and talk bad about me, but how I get locked up.
Well, it has been such a pleasure.
Yes,
thank you
it
so
has.
much.
Thank you
It's
so
always
much for
so good
having
to
us.
come in here. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
And woohoo, the treats. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
yes. I
All
can't
right,
wait to
good.
dive
I'm
into
going to
this.
grow to expect this now. You know,
And
if I show up one day and I don't get my
this
gooseberry
is
stew,
yours.
I don't know. You know. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's a
And
treasure.
It's a treasure. It's
Yes.
a treat. It's a fruit
I'm gonna
called
remind you
gooseberry.
when I'm coming back.
And she will give you the
Yes.
whole lowdown on it.
Yes, I
And
will.
One of the pleasurable ways to partake is to get you some ice cream.
It's sour, right? Kind of sour.
No, actually it's
no.
so it's sweet. But it
Yes.
goes great with the ice cream. Just like how people put on fudge.
What doesn't go good with ice cream?
I know, right? Now, what flavor would you recommend for Joel and Marjorie?
Whatever your favorite is.
Okay.
I like the coconut in particular, but you know they also have the local fruit versions where they have one with gooseberry in it and so forth. But with this, you don't have to be limited to gooseberry. So it depends on the season what they have. Sometimes, but a lot of Caribbean fruits they will make the ice cream of whatever seasonal fruit in that sense. So
Yes, good stuff.
I love it.
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Good
you.
thing. All right.